Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started in about 2 minutes just so we can stay on time. Decided to be brave and attempt to do Facebook Live at the same time for the first time. All right. Can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure that I have a new mic set up. Drop in the chat if everyone can hear me. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Time is not quite 1. We'll get started here in just a moment. All right, so it's 1 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Thank you so much for joining. This is our webinar on lead magnet funnels 101. So we're going to be covering some proven strategies to help you nurture leads and skyrocket your sales. If you've never been to one of our webinars, one of the key things that we try to do is structure the content so that these are things that you can take action on right away. Even if you're a one-man show, if you don't have a full team, we try to pull together content and strategies that you can use no matter your size or your experience, really. So if you have any specific questions about anything we're covering, I'll leave time obviously to go over sections, but feel free to drop in the chat if you just have a question about something. All right, so within the world of lead magnets, the main things we're going to be covering is a quick overview on the importance of them, implementing them, nurturing strategies for that, how to maximize the conversion of them, and then tying that all to sales, right? Because that's ultimately what we want. This is a journey. This does not mean we're going to go over how to put a lead magnet out and all of a sudden you're going to be selling out of all your stuff. But if you follow these strategies over time and tweak based on the metrics that you find, this will help you to increase your sales at the end of the day. Okay. Quickly about me, my name is Kelly Kelly. I'm the founder and CEO of Brand Method Media Group. We are a digital marketing agency and we help our clients elevate their online brand presence through strategic and creative digital experiences so they can grow their sales. We've been in business 5 years. I personally have 20 years of experience across traditional marketing, public relations, and digital marketing. I'm a wife, a mom of 2, and I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, so real quick, let's jump into the importance of lead magnets. I think most of us have either downloaded them, hopefully we're using them in our business, but we don't always use them with a strategy behind it. I've worked with very large organizations that have invested so much money in lead magnets and they have them available for download. And then when I come in and I say, okay, well, what happens next? There's no strategy behind it. There's no funnel. It's just they download it. It was automatically an email address was connected, but there is no other steps that come after that. And so you're really not getting the value of, on the investment that you made in putting together the lead magnet. All right. So lead magnets are tremendous and they're really good for creating valuable pieces of content and resources that you can offer in exchange for a contact information. Now, the thing is, I think so many SaaS or online services have just kind of gotten lazy with them. And so it seems like a regurgitation of the same information. So you want to make sure when you're putting together your lead magnet that you are actually providing value. You don't have to give away all of your trade secrets, but they should be something of value. So the main goal of your lead magnet is to capture attention and establish contact, right? You want to target your audience by offering them something valuable, solving a problem, or addressing a specific need. So for example, we have 4 service offerings: digital strategy and consulting, website design, podcast production, and content marketing, pretty much. Somebody interested in website design may or may not be interested in podcast production. So what we're working on is putting together lead magnets that are specific to each of our services. That's something you may want to consider. If you just have one catch-all, like a checklist of some kind, You might want to divvy it up based on your service offering, kind of the main ones, maybe the ones that drive the most revenue, and create lead magnets specifically for those, because that's going to help solve, like, give them a quick win when they download it. It's not just this general guide of some kind, but it breaks it down based off of what your offering is. And then with the strategies that we go over, you can follow up and be more specific and intentional about getting them to the point of close. Okay, so you definitely want to make sure that you're selecting the right lead magnet type. Okay, so this is going to be based on your audience's preference, industry norms, and specific business goals. So I'm going to give you a really, really simple example. If you are an e-commerce store and you sell a project or a product that somebody can purchase, they may or may not be interested in a white paper. If you are a startup that helps healthcare companies or hospitals streamline wait times in the ER, it's very technical, they may be interested in a white paper, and vice versa. I think the rule is the longer the sales cycle or the more high ticket the item, you want to make it a little more informational. Whereas if you're e-commerce, someone coming to you to purchase the e-commerce product is not necessarily going to be wanting to deep dive into a very heavy piece lead magnet. So for your e-commerce people that are on the call, quizzes are really great. Any sort of interaction on your website that can serve as a lead magnet. It may not necessarily be a download, but they are getting something for free. Let's say if you have a fashion brand and they fill out a quiz, they're identifying, what color or what sizes may go best with what they put in. Okay. You definitely want to make sure they're high quality. Again, don't get lazy and just kind of throw stuff together. Be intentional about it, because this is going to help you really build trust with your potential customers. And that's what you want. That's the whole purpose of this. Okay. Lead magnets also play a key role in converting website visitors into leads and encouraging them to share their contact information. And you want to start there because your website is a rich source of extracting information. Even if they just visit one time, that can be the start of a long-standing situation. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when it comes to retargeting based off the traffic to your site. All right, so let's talk about some effective lead nurturing techniques that you can start to implement right away. Lead nurturing is just simply the process of building a relationship with potential customers at different stages of the funnel. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. You want to focus on establishing trust, providing value, and then staying top of mind. Let me just talk about this for a second, because on the marketing side, we often get customer or clients who, when it's your business, you live in that bubble. When you start to present your business to an audience, that's not their bubble. They're getting messages and information from all over the place. So it's not unheard of that they would quickly forget about you. It doesn't mean they don't care or value what you're offering. It's just very, very difficult, especially in the age of social media, to maintain attention on something. So it's your job as a business owner to keep a cadence of being present. Okay, that's number one, showing up, reminding people that you still even exist. It can be very, very difficult to stay top of mind in today's market, because we got, maybe 2 platforms that we're on, social media or LinkedIn and Instagram. We're scrolling all day. We're getting notifications from here, from there. Weeks go by and they haven't seen your face. They forgot that you do what you do. Okay, so the number one thing that you're going to want to focus on when you get into lead nurturing is segmentation. So you can do this based off demographic, interests. Really want to focus on behaviors and engagement. How are they interacting with your information? Because this will help kind of kick off that funnel strategy of what they eventually start to receive. What's the next piece of content that they receive from you? You never want to get caught in the trap of, let me send this one lead magnet to my whole list. Let me send this next thing to my whole list. You send a lead magnet based on behavior or information that you have. It, again, going back to kind of breaking up your lead magnets based on your offering, if you have multiple offerings, and then you start to drip them down a certain funnel. Okay. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But behaviors are engagement are super important. If you are a local business, you have a brick and mortar, definitely demographic makes a difference in order to target them at certain times. For example, if you've ever been on your phone, sometimes around lunchtime, you may get a pop-up ad from Uber Eats or DoorDash because they know it's lunchtime. They know that you're probably looking for something to eat, right? If you have the app on your phone, you're probably going to get a notification from them if they're running that type of campaign. These are things that you guys can do too, whether you're a physical location or you're a online business. So personalization, something as simple as using a recipient's name or referring to specific interests or previous interactions can help to create more of a rapport. So for example, if I am tracking engagement from different email campaigns, right? We can all see who clicked on what. If I can do a filter and see that, this group of people are continuously clicking on digital strategy content, then they need to be in a specific funnel. They're letting me know they're interested in something. So the next campaign they get maybe shouldn't be the catch-all, the monthly newsletter. It should be something more personalized to help move them to the next spot. Does anybody have any questions so far? Definitely let me know. Just drop it in the chat. I'm happy to answer. Okay. So your drip campaigns and your automation, this is how you're going to not have to do all the manual work, right? If most email marketing service providers can aggregate this information for you. You just have to set it up. That's your tags, those type of things, your different lists that you might have. But this allows you to schedule. Drip campaign is just a pre-planned set of emails that get sent out over a specified amount of time. Is anybody using drip campaigns right now? Most of us are using welcome series, right? But you can definitely dig deeper. I feel like welcome series are your introduction. And I think they're super valuable to just establish the connection. But then you want to get into, let's start to move these people. It's going to take time. It's not going to be immediate, but let's start to move them. And we want this set up on automation because we never know when we're going to get people signed up. If you have content out there, people could be signing up on your list every day. You don't want to be responsible to have to go into your email provider and start putting people in little buckets. Set all that up on automation. The other thing you want to focus on when you're getting into lead nurturing is you want it to be multi-channel. Okay, so that's pretty much core for our service offering. When we talk about content marketing, we have a trifecta. It's going to be social, email, and then website traffic, what's going on. Okay, so in this example, you want to pick from a few of these: email, social, content, definitely retargeting ads. Figure out some combination that's going to help move them. Oftentimes people they hear like sound bites that say, every email I send out, for every $1 I spend on email, I should get, $7 back. Well, it's a lot that happens between that. And it's not as linear as most people would like it to be. It can be email and they could have every intention of doing business with you and then they get busy. But if you have your funnel set up a multi-channel nurturing strategy, you already got them being tracked. So now they get an ad. Okay, that's the second touch point. Now they get another ad, another email. Now they're ready to maybe close. They may close at the email, but it was 2 or 3 other channels that help to get them through their journey to decide to work with you. Okay, it's not usually linear. I know we love to hear, what's the ROI on your Facebook ad? There could be a ton of things these people did between seeing your ad. They probably went to your website. They probably did some research, looked at some reviews, and hopefully they were served another ad and then converted. So you want to put together a multi-channel strategy to help your odds of getting them to the close. All right, let's talk about the marketing funnel optimization. So basically, everybody knows what the customer journey is, right? That's just awareness, consideration, decision. Now, you have experts in the space that are, this can be 5 steps instead of 3, but just for simplicity's sake, we're going to talk about awareness, consideration, and decision. It's really, really, really important, guys. I know, a lot of times, especially my clients, we gloss over this part, right? When we are ready we've done all this research and we got plans together, and it's like, okay, we need to drive sales. That's going to keep your business afloat. But you have to start at awareness. You cannot sell anything if people do not know or remember that you exist. It is impossible. If they forget about you, you can't sell them on anything. Okay, so you got to give some attention, resources, and investment in your awareness stage to help get them to the point of sale. So what does that look like? SEO, optimizing the images on your website, making sure your H1, H2 is set up properly in case somebody wants to do direct search, that you can be found that way. That does take time. You want to add content marketing, staying visible on the platforms that people spend obscene amounts of time on, right? Isn't that what we always say? People are living on their phones. Well, you need to be on a phone. You need to be coming up in the feed consistently, right? Whether you like social media or not, you need to be present. A reasonable email schedule, twice a month, once a week, whatever that looks like for you, consistently showing up to remind these people, hey, we're still here. Okay. Also, influencer partnerships. So by now, we've definitely seen where even your B2B companies, SaaS products, tech companies, they are partnering with influencers. It's not the sexy, flashy fashion and beauty girls necessarily, but it is influencers, business owners. Chase has a lot of campaigns that include influencers. QuickBooks. I'll tell you guys a quick story. I was working with a accounting software company a couple of years ago, providing them content marketing services. We did a deep dive into their analytics to figure out where, what social channels were driving revenue. Sorry about that. What social channels were driving revenue? We found that there were these videos that an accountant was making where they would use my client's software to carry out actions, right? The software connected with QuickBooks. So this guy wasn't necessarily making the videos about my client's software or QuickBooks. He was just showing people how to do this thing that they needed to do for accounting. And I said, I think we should try to get a partnership with this guy because he's getting a lot of traffic. And every time he posts a video using your product, you guys get sales. They were like, no. A year later, I see this guy on a QuickBooks ad, an actual QuickBooks campaign. And I was like, okay. So that's just, if you look on YouTube, your favorite thought leaders and influencers, they probably have content on there where they're partnering. These are things that you can do too. It doesn't have to be a big haul. If you know somebody, if you are a B2B company and you have colleagues that, have some sort of following, you guys can partner. They can be influencers for your brand. Okay. Has anybody tried that yet? Let me know in the chat if you've tried any sort of influencer partnership, regardless of what your business is. All right, consideration stage. So now you've made yourself aware. What can you do at the consideration stage to help your chances of growing sales? We talked about the personalized campaigns. We talked about retargeting ads. You can start to weave into your content, whether that's email or social, customer testimonials, reminding people of the results that you get for your clients. That helps. Or any sort of reviews that you have. And it doesn't have to be, that can be the sole campaign. It can be part of your monthly newsletter. You can put a blurb at the bottom, here's what our customers have to say about, when we provided them this similar service. Okay. Comparison charts. If you are a SaaS product, you can, what are we always looking for? Oh, okay. Tell me about, we Google Kajabi versus Thinkific, because we want to compare. I want to see checks and marks, right? Okay. I just did this as part of my monthly. That's amazing because it reminds people that you're getting results for your clients. If you're sharing reviews, don't just think, okay, well, I have Google reviews. If they were curious about what reviews I have, they can look me up. Do not put any assumptions or work on the target because it's probably not going to happen. People like to be served up. And if you are the one responsible for growing sales in your business, You have to be thinking, okay, do I want to add a step to what they need to do, or do I want to just deliver it to them? Most people want to see reviews, so give it to them. Don't like rely on them to look it up. Okay. The thing about retargeting ads I want to tell you guys too is that there's a really simple sort of 3-step, I call it the welcome series version of Facebook ads. Oftentimes people get very frustrated with Facebook ads because they want to start at the point of selling. They jump in Facebook and they say, I want to create an ad to sell out of XYZ. Okay, well, number one, it's going to be more expensive. Number two, if this is your first time or your second time, you're pitching to a cold audience. It's definitely going to be more expensive and harder. You have to start at that awareness stage. So I always recommend people start with, if you've ever set up Facebook, it'll say, what's the goal? Traffic. Okay, start there, or video views, traffic or video views. You're not asking much of them other than to check something out. Maybe it's your free download or to watch a video. Now you're getting a set of people that are interested, and you retarget that audience. It really helps to keep your costs down, and also to start to build an audience that you can just continue to nurture over time. So if you're in the consideration stage, these are things that you can do to help grow your sales. Decision. This is when you want to create that sense of urgency. So what are some things that you can do? You can promote the limited time offers, right? We've all seen this with our favorite retailers. Oh, Black Friday, the sale is for 24 hours only. Macy's is notorious for this, right? Macy's be like, one day only. If you go to Macy's in real life, they will scan their own stuff and give you the discount almost every time. But they still have to create the sense of urgency to either get you in the door, to get you to buy it. It still works. It's just psychology. Discounts, free trials, customer reviews. Here's my recommendation on free trials. We've worked with tech companies in the past, and I always say, when you do a free trial, you need to have a funnel behind that. Somebody signs up for a free trial. If that free trial is for 7 days, they should be getting an email from you automatically on automation in 3 days. Hey, how's this free trial working out for you? Did you have any questions? Feel free to book a free call to go over any questions or concerns that you have. This is before the trial is up. Then they maybe get another email the day before trial. Hey, how did this work out for you? Can we, get on a call and walk through a demo with you? Okay. A lot of times people do free trials and there's just nothing that comes after it. Very much like the lead magnets. Somebody gets the thing that they want to value, and then the company or the brand doesn't have anything set up on the back end to nurture them. And so they take their stuff and they go and they cancel their free trial because they set an alarm and they haven't had any contact with the brand. Okay. Okay. So a couple of key things you want to remember about your funnel to maximize your conversions. You have to reduce friction and remove barriers. It needs to be as seamless as possible. So if you can minimize your form fields, do you really need 10 pieces of information about this customer to get them to their point of they get what they need? Or can you kind of consolidate that? If you are a e-commerce or online, offering guest checkout is a really good option. Multiple payments is an option. The key is, very much like information in general, you have to make it as simple as possible. Do not assume that, oh, well, it's just one more thing. It's just this, it's just that. It doesn't work that way. You want them to have as little friction as possible and get to the point, get what they want. Mobile optimization. This is something that, can often be overlooked, but there's just too many people reviewing content and making purchases online through their mobile phone to not make sure that if you set up a landing page or even a lead magnet funnel, that everything can be easily navigated from a phone. It needs to be responsive. It needs to be fast loading, and you need to have mobile-friendly CTAs. What are mobile-friendly CTAs or call to actions? If you have pop-ups, that X needs to be big. The number one mistake people make is that they think, oh, well, if I make the X not very visible to close out, if I make the X not very visible or move it around. Like there's a certain setup where you can move it from one place to the next, or super small, then it'll prevent them from, no, it'll just piss them off. So you want to make it very easy for them to navigate through that, even if they're on the phone. Okay, so now we've done all this work, we've put in all this effort. Here are some things that you can do within the sales funnel to optimize. A/B testing. Okay, so this is when you can do different email subject lines, CTAs, even landing pages, depending on the provider that you use. We use Get Response. They're an incredible email marketing provider. They actually also have webinar capabilities. That's what we use for our webinars. They have a conversion funnel builder, like a whole builder that you can do for your lead magnets, for your webinars. So it really helps. But one of the key features that I really like is that you can A/B test almost anything. Okay. And this will help you to get to know. Sometimes people think, well, I don't want to put all this effort in something that people aren't going to, well, you don't know if they're not going to respond to this creative or not. You have to test. This is just a part of marketing and sales. You have to test to see what works. And over time, you'll learn. Okay. Upselling and cross-selling. Increasing your average order value, right? By offering additional products or services to customers. So what does this look like for B2B? Okay. If you have a B2B company and you have your product suite, you need to always have something to offer to upsell. That is not being greedy. That is not being desperate. That's just a part of business. Upselling and cross-selling. You can do this if you take sales calls by phone, even through email. One of the strategies that we've used that saw a lot of ROI for a client before was, and this happens a lot with retail, is including an offer or a call to action in like confirmation emails. Okay. If somebody is downloaded something or signed up for something and then they get a confirmation email, there's an offer there, right? A lot of times this will happen. You'll see this if you work with like online coaches or something and you download one of their resources, that thank you page is a page with an offer. That's what you need to be doing. Okay. Asking for the sale so that you can increase the average order value of your product or service. Social proof and testimonials, obviously kind of keeping that out there. It matters, guys. People love to say how, social media, if you're not selling, okay, well, there's still a process. And part of the process of leveraging social media is to put content out there that will help people decide to do business with you. This is definitely one of those things that will help people decide to do business with you. Social proof, again, places that people are spending obscene amounts of time on, and they're constantly seeing you. Have you ever seen like or kind of experienced the effect of where it seems like somebody is everywhere and they're doing all these things? That's kind of how you can utilize social media for your business. Constantly having good content out there, social proof that it works, testimonials, case studies, those type of things all help. So retargeting and remarketing, we talked about the ad piece, but also how many of you are using CRMs to manage your customers? Any CRM. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have, not necessarily like Salesforce or anything. Is anybody using the CRM? If so, which one are you using? Okay, drop it in the chat and let me know which CRM you're using. If you are not using a CRM, I would highly recommend that you start. This will help you with this part of the phase, remembering people to reach back out to. Okay, active campaign for emails and CRM. Karen, none right now. The CRM is going to be super important. There's a lot of free options. There's a way to restructure Asana. If you're using that for project management, you can set that up sort of as a CRM. The main point that I'm trying to make with this piece is that you need to be reaching out to prospects you've previously interacted with. or previously interacted with your brand. So whether that's through a retargeting ad or simply getting on the phone or going via email. But the way that you're going to keep that organized is in a CRM. You're not likely to remember who you emailed back in January or February. So if you keep track of it, that'll help you to take a block of time during your week to say, hey, this is my sales block. I'm going to, use the first 30 minutes to go through and re-email people every quarter. If I haven't heard from them, I'm going to make it a point and set reminders to reach out every quarter. Okay. And we kind of talked about the retargeting ads. Did anybody have any questions on those? Those are super useful. But once you build an audience to kind of retarget things. You know what I want to say about retargeting ads? Okay. So prime example, you can do this on your own and see what I mean. So retargeting ads are in certain spaces utilized a lot more effectively than others. One of the simplest retargeting campaigns you can set up is retargeting people who have visited your website. That is super simple. That is very top of funnel. It is not complicated to set up. You basically are putting a pixel on your page. You can do individual pages and set up events, but just for the sake of simplicity to start, this would be a good place to start. You want to send ads to people that have gone to your page. If you were to, after this webinar, go and Google any sort of beauty product or name of a big beauty brand, when you log back into Facebook, if you refresh your feed, every third post is going to be an ad from probably that brand and some others. They do not play. I did this a couple of months ago. I was looking for some sort of beauty product, but I was looking for a certain brand. When I went back into Facebook, every third post was an ad from a beauty brand, but not the one I was looking at. Okay. So as people are looking for things that you offer, you want to be setting up your retargeting ads to target that interest. All right. So that you don't miss out, whether they looked up your brand specifically or not. Case studies. This is really great for B2B. Just real life examples. A couple of things you want to include in your case studies are specific metrics or improvements that you made, and if you can get revenue growth. So let me just say this is not always easy information to extract from a client. And depending on the contract that you had, if you have any NDAs or if it's just in the normal, you may or may not be able to use specific revenue numbers. But what metrics can you use? And is it a matter of just getting approval? This is a little bit of a tedious process, but it is super important. And it's only one part of the process per client. This can be either during the offboarding. If this is a long-term client, you can put it into your processes to do this every quarter. Hey, when you sit down with your team or yourself, let's look at a Q1. What are the results that we got for this client? Well, I don't know. Okay, well, let's put something together. Well, can we use this? Send an email and ask them. But this is super important to have because this is a sales tool that you can use ongoing. This can be a part of your deck. It can just be a part of, if you want to put these on your website, some companies, especially in B2B, are a little leery about putting case studies on their website. Some of them use it as gated content. Whatever the case, however you want to use it, I would advise using it because people want to know results. Testimonials are still great, but at a certain level, they want to know, like, what did you do? What were the results of your efforts with this client? Okay. And then lastly, you have to track all this stuff. So that can also be a part of your CEO responsibilities. If you don't have a big team, every month or every quarter, you can use, I found some dashboard, CEO dashboard from some company. It was a lead magnet essentially. And it basically breaks down the things that you want to keep track of every month, but you got to keep track of this. I know this sounds like a lot of work, and it is a lot of work. But if you're going to grow your business and make pivots, you have to start keeping track of this. If you're simply just wanting to keep track of the metrics from your lead magnets, how many people downloaded, how many people opened, how many people engaged with the subsequent email drip campaign that came from each lead magnet. Okay, that's probably an indicator that they're ripe for the next step of the sales cycle, whatever it looks like. Does that look like you booking a call with them? Does it look like you making a phone call? Does it look like, knocking on a door, like whatever it looks like, that's what you want to start tracking. Okay. And I think that's it, guys. I want to be out of here on time for you. Was that too fast? Oh no, if that was too fast, tell me it was too fast. Sorry. But thank you for joining the webinar. And if you have any questions now or later, feel free to email and let me know. I'll hang for just a few seconds because I think there's a bit of a delay and I can see someone is typing. If you have any questions for me. Somebody deleted it and they type again. Oh, thanks, Karen. I'm glad. I'm always leery about these things. I'm like, is this too much information? Not enough? Ugh, I can nerd out on this stuff all day, y'all. I'll be trying to scale it back a little bit. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for signing on. We have you on our list, so we'll probably do another one in 2 weeks. I'm not sure what the topic will be, but thank you for joining. And just go ahead and email me if you have any questions in the future. Okay. All right. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.